You might call it a room with a view, but a view like no other in the universe. NASA has been setting its sights on inflatable rooms as a future tool in space exploration, and they could come in handy, for example, on future missions to Mars. John Zarrella gives us a look from the Kennedy Space Center.
This is what a Mars base might look like with its living quarters and research facilities. But chances are it will be built quite differently than you might think. The U.S. Space Agency, NASA, is keeping its fingers crossed, hoping a major upcoming test will prove that expandable habitats, commonly called inflatables, made mostly of impenetrable fabric, are the way of the future. When a SpaceX rocket lifts off on its next flight to the International Space Station, part of the cargo it will be carrying is called BEAM, the Bigelow Expandable Activity Module. Packed up nice and neatly for flight, once at the ISS, it will be opened up, expanded to the size of a small bedroom. An astronaut working the space station's robotic arm will lift BEAM from the cargo container, attach it to a station berthing area, and within a couple months, it will be filled with air to its full 4-meter-long size and then pressurized.
Once that is done, BEAM is fully inflated. Then the crew does an 80-hour leak check. We want to make sure that the module is not leaking due to transportation, handling, and other conditions, which we don't expect, but just in case.
The expandable habitat built by Bigelow Aerospace under contract with NASA could be a game changer for deep space missions. The space agency is looking for ways to reduce the cost and number of cargo flights needed for a Mars mission. Smaller and lighter to haul, expandable habitats might be the ticket. This one will remain at the station for 2 years. Sensors inside will measure temperature, radiation, and durability against particle impacts. Astronauts will enter it only periodically to check and replace sensors. Bigelow has already flown and successfully tested 2 small habitats called Genesis 1 and 2. But this one will be the first attached to the station and the first humans can safely enter and exit.
The first and foremost goal is to obviously prove the expandable technology with a human-rated spacecraft like ISS.
If this test goes well, Bigelow hopes to fly an even larger expandable to the ISS, roomy enough to house 6 station crew members. Robert Bigelow, founder of Bigelow Aerospace, made his money in the hotel business. The billionaire is hoping his habitats will not only go to Mars, but will eventually be the first hotels in low Earth orbit. Just imagine the view. John Zarrella, CCTV, at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.